Yeah, you saw that joke coming. I honestly considered starting off this review by saying a 3D Sonic game is always a cautious prospect in people's minds. But with Colors, Generations, and now Lost World, is that really the case anymore? And just take a second to ponder this mad world we live in nowadays. Nintendo and Sega have partnered up, Persona and Panzer Dragoon are owned by the same studio, and 3D Sonic games are actually good. It's a great day to be a gamer, everybody, so what do you say? Is it finally cool to be a Sonic fan again? An awkward moment when you contemplate whether a story section is truly necessary. I mean, really, it's a company mascot platformer. What do you think the story in this game is? Is the bad guy gonna start shit? Is the good guy gonna have to stop him? Is it gonna take them to some fantastical world vastly different from their own? Yes, Lost World is all of these things. I guess it would be boring if it was the exact same thing as always, though, so here's Eggman's new ploy. The Good Doctor has created a machine that can drain life energy from the planet and use it as a power source. To keep Sonic busy while he perfects it, he subdued a group of aliens called the Deadly Six, also known as the Zeti, and forces them to fight the Blue Blur. When Sonic destroys Eggman's means to control these creatures, however, they turn on their master, taking over his robots and abusing the life-draining machine with the intent of destroying the planet. This forces the previous rivals to work together in an attempt to save their world from a threat bigger than them both. Honestly, there's not much reason to care about the narrative. Sonic doesn't gain any new abilities once he teams up with his arch-nemesis, and you're still going down the same linear path through the stages you were following before the betrayal. Only one thing might keep you interested in this story, and that's the new dynamic between the core three characters, Sonic, Tails, and Eggman. Taking them out of their element shows sides of them and interactions between them that we haven't seen before. You think Eggman is a joke? Yeah, no big deal about getting stabbed in the back. He's just gonna be a big old fat dummy butt about the whole thing, just like he always is.
I'll get fat from eating your black hearts, you Eggman wannabes! I will burn your world, you rebellious scum! I will destroy everything you love and make you rot!
Boss, your hands!
As long as I can still strangle a Zeti, my hands are fine. I am the Eggman. That's what I am. I am the Eggman. I got the master plan.
Seriously, this narrative is way more interesting when the norms I've mentioned are turned on their heads, and I really wish they had taken more risks than they did. Oh, and speaking of being predictable, I have a confession to make. When I first saw the Deadly Six, I hated their designs. Did not like them. Say what you want about Silver, at least he fit organically into the rest of the cast. These guys stick out like a post-it note that's been set on fire. But as I played, I slowly began to accept that that's the point. They're aliens. They're supposed to look out of place, so I can at least tolerate them now. I say tolerate because what I can't forgive is that we've already seen these characters a million times before. What's Master Zik's character? He's old. What's Xena's gimmick? She's vain. What's Zamom's angle? Oh, I don't know. Take a wild guess.
Who are you calling fat?
The only interesting one is Zavik, and that's only because he's a cold, maniacal bastard. And seriously, why did Zor need to exist? They've skirted it before with Shadow, but Sonic Team has managed to avoid going full emo till now. Why spoil a perfect record? This guy belongs in the annals of DeviantArt, not an official game. And that's really the nail in this narration's coffin. If the villains suck, the drive to fight them just isn't there. So as it stands, Lost World is just another platformer with a story you'll never need to care about. Well, while a decent narrative would have been nice, let's be honest, what's the first question you always ask in these games? Does Sonic go fast? Yes. He also goes slow, and you know what? Both of them work. Let me explain. You may have already noticed the gravity-defying design of the stages, and while I'll allow you to make all the Mario Galaxy jokes you want, now that I've played them, I finally understand what the design team was going for. The first thing you'll pick up on in the control scheme is that you need to hold a button to make Sonic run, so at any time, you can actively switch between precision movement and a flat-out sprint, and I think the whole game was designed around that mechanic. Sometimes you need to move more precisely to make platforming easier, and giving Sonic 2 gears to shift between was a smart choice in that regard. But more so than that, it allows you to play the levels however you want. If you just want to blast through them as fast as possible, there's nothing stopping you save for your own skill in relation to the challenge. But if you slow down and really look at everything you passed by the first time, well, now the cylindrical level design starts to make sense. What it does is allow the designers to create multiple paths all leading in the same direction. There are entire segments you will never see if you just blast on through, and because there are hidden red rings scattered about every stage, there's a reason to give all of them a spin at least once. I won't spoil what you get for collecting all of them, but every 5 you snag in a particular area unlocks a new bonus level, where you can save more animals and just take a break from the normal stages for a bit. Hey, speaking of which, there are 7 normal areas with 4 levels in each one you'll have to unlock by saving a certain number of animals beforehand. I've also gotten special question mark stages to appear on occasion, and even though they're fun, I have no idea how to trigger them, and therefore can't promise that you'll see them as well. What I will give the Deadly Six credit for is that they make their presence known in the stages leading up to their final encounter, taunting you and consistently causing you trouble on your way forward. If nothing else, this makes them much more involved villains, and the stage design benefits from it. One thing you can't hold against Lost World is the stage design, because every level has its own new ideas and ways to handle them. Just when you think you've got it down, they throw something new at you to keep it interesting, and I love games that know how to keep you on your toes like that. Had enough running around? Try playing an entire stage as a snowball. You like Kid Icarus? Have a level where you go out one side of the screen and end up on the other. And even though you're quite literally on rails, I love these grinding stages and the split-second reactions you need to do them well. There's also some post-game content, which I'm also not going to spoil here, considering there's some of the most inventive levels in the game, as well as missions you can complete while inside any level for bonus items and perks. Yeah, this time around you can carry a set of up to 5 power-ups that you can use at any time to give you a leg up. What's more, you can actually wisp away some of your items to other people playing the game, and get back even more useful ones for your troubles. I mostly made it without them, but it's kinda cool that you can customize your strategy like that. There's also a connectivity feature between this and the 3DS version of the game, which I unfortunately can't show off because I'm not made of money. Finally, there's the matter of the pre-order incentive, the Deadly Six Edition, which includes a bonus Nights into Dreams inspired level. Yes, just one level. And lo and behold, all it contains is reskins for every mid-world boss fight. There's simplified versions of the battles too, so if you save this for last like I did, you're going to be severely disappointed. I guess it's cool seeing Sonic fly alongside Knights, but trust me when I say that if you didn't snag it, you're not missing much that you can't just experience on YouTube. So is there anything I don't like about the gameplay? Well, yes, unfortunately. About half of these boss battles are absolutely pathetic. Not even knowing what I was doing, some of them didn't even last a full minute. Once again, Zavok came out on top here because his fights were actually challenging, and in creative, interesting ways too. Even the final boss didn't last 2 full rounds, but it wasn't until that fight that I realized something. I will give credit to this game for all the cool level designs and the unique control scheme, but despite all this, I can't shake the feeling that Lost World is desperately trying to be Sonic Colors, and not just because of the wisps. It's the same basic cast, the same collection elements and color powers, the bad guy talking in the background, the small overworlds filled with micro-stages, the fact that it's Nintendo exclusive without giving any real reason for it to be. Oh, that's another thing. I've been fortunate over the years. I've somehow managed to come all this way without having any real problems with motion controls. Well, unfortunately, I finally joined the club, and it's all thanks to the gamepad gyroscope. Eagle, I've since figured out. If you raise the gamepad too early, it sets your descent point to that direction, meaning you'll be desperately trying to make yourself go up thinking the controller is already in a straight position. Wait until the Eagle starts descending naturally and then raise the controller up for best results. But the Rocket? Man, you're on your own on that one. I cannot get this thing to aim straight to save my life. It just goes in whatever direction it feels like. One thing I definitely don't mind Lost World copying from Colors, though, is the daringness to defy hardware expectations. If the Wii U isn't a real next-gen console, you could have fooled me, because Lost World looks fantastic. Beautifully realized themes, complemented by the tricky architecture of the land itself, gives the whole game a simply stunning aesthetic. That starburst effect when you bounce off a spring is just magical, but honestly, the visual feedback on all fronts is oh so satisfying. I can't say I was blown away by the soundtrack, but it's catchy enough. I see they finally gave up trying to replicate Live and Learn, as the title theme shows up nowhere else in the game, and I'm more than a little relieved for it. Crush 40 and Sonic songs with lyrics in general are awesome, but once in a while, you just gotta do something different. And that's really what Lost World is. Not much better than what we've come to expect in recent years, but not at all worse either. I guess this game's biggest crime is playing it safe in a lot of respects, so if you've been waiting for the end-all, beat-all Sonic experience, well, go back and play Generations, preferably on the PC so you can mod it. But if you're happy with the simple fact that good Sonic games are a real thing again, then this is everything you could ever want. Well, everything short of a masterpiece, that is.